I first realized that we were dealing with a little more than shyness when I went on a field trip with Sean's preschool class. And he was clinging to me, which I expected, but he wouldn't talk to the students or any of the teachers. He wouldn't wave, he wouldn't give a high five, or really even look at them. He hid behind me. He wouldn't hold hands with the other children in our group.
I think there was one time when, we were playing at a park and he was having a blast and it was just me and him. And, we saw, a kid around his age get out of a car. It had to be about 150, 200 yards away. And he saw that and just made a beeline for our car, and so we would start seeing things like that, and they became more and more regular.
He just really wasn't talking to any of the kids. He wasn't really talking to the teachers too much. But then at home, he was just a totally different child, completely different. So it kind of triggered, there was something going on. We just weren't quite sure what it was, just because of such a difference in personality at home and then at school and other public places too.
To him, it was just him being shy, but to me, I thought it was a little bit more than just a shyness where it's a temporary condition. It was becoming more of an issue where everywhere he went, he didn't engage with children his age, and it was just sad for us to see him suffer.
The camp experience for Noah was actually great. He loved it. He was excited to go the first day. We did lead-in sessions, so he was able to meet Dr. Linus and his counselor ahead of time, so I think he felt really comfortable.
The adventure camp experience for our family was so well worth it that I would recommend it to a lot of the parents that are seeing that their children are a little bit shy to even intensely shy.
The sort of monster in our closet the whole time was kindergarten. What are we going to do when kindergarten rolls around? He's not going to be able to sit in a chair next to another child. He's not going to be able to tell the teacher he needs to use the restroom. He's not going to be able to tell someone he's not feeling well. And I think for all those reasons, when we first heard of the idea of adventure camp and just sort of serendipity, the way the timing worked out with when it would be in regards to when he would start kindergarten, it seemed like, sort of this really, really great idea that could potentially really affect a positive change in his life.
I guess the biggest questions were just what the day was going to look like, the structure of the day, the camper to counselor ratio, how old the other kids were going to be, how many other kids there were going to be in the camp.
Mornings he was nervous about going, but once we got there and he got into his routine, he was very excited. He had a sticker sheet where he could earn stickers every day for using his brave talk. And every day he would come out bravely showing his a massive amount of stickers.
The camp actually gave him a lot of tools and just the experience, the hands-on experience with going out on field trips, talking to people that he needed something from or that asked him a question. He was actually able to reply without, covering his mouth or looking down in a way.
Dr. Linus had arranged for a series of lead-in sessions as part of the camp, and my understanding is the purpose is to gauge his readiness for the camp, but also to acclimate him with his counselor and even acclimate him to some of the other children that he may be seeing in the camp, and I think those are really, really helpful.
I would say the greatest benefit of the program is it's just such intensive treatment that, I think it was about, the kids were there for 30 hours over the week. So if you think about that, if you go for a weekly session with a psychologist, it would take 30 weeks to kind of get to that place.
They had a great thing at the camp where they had, we sort of had a parents' discussion group at the lunch hours, and those were enormously fruitful for me.
The experience was really good. It was really nice meeting other parents whose kids are going through the same struggles that our kids are going through.
As it turned out, he had such a good time there, and he enjoyed it so much that that excitement and anticipation transitioned right from camp to kindergarten.
A couple weeks ago in kindergarten, he was also supposed to bring something for show and tell. And when I said, do you know what you're going to say about it? Are you nervous? What are you going to say about it? He said, Mom, I did this in camp. It's no big deal.
He does wonderfully now when it comes to speaking to adults. He does wonderfully when it comes to participating in activities where other children are nearby physically. He can verbalize in those situations, which he can never do before.
He is getting a lot of feedback from teachers about him raising his hand, about him being articulate and answering questions. He can perform his oral presentations in front of the class.
He wants to go to school. He wants to see his friends. He's learning and he's excited, and he's telling me about the great things about school, not just the scary things.
Probably just one of the tools that's going to help your child. It's not a cure-all. I think I myself went in thinking that this week was going to fix him, cure him, and he'd be completely fine after camp. So I think that's important to realize, that it's just one step in the process.
He's happier. He's coming home from school and he's smiling, and mornings are not tear-inducing for both of us because he doesn't want to go and he's screaming, I don't want to go to school. He's not doing that.
I think we still have a long road ahead of us, but I think my husband and I both feel more confident that we know what to do, we know where to seek the right help, and that we're doing everything we can for him.
I actually got an email from the teacher last week saying that he was talking too much to his friends in school, and if I could address that with him. And I was laughing for about an hour before I could even respond, because I never, ever would have thought that I would be getting an email from the teacher saying he was talking too much and disrupting the class, and yet he was.
In a matter of months, the progress he made was just mystifying.
And it's just stretched his whole, I think his world is just going to be, astronomically changed through this.